The FIFA World Cup. There's no bigger sporting event in the world. Every 4 years, literally billions of people worldwide tune in to see which country will capture the eternal glory of the largest sporting competition in the world. As of the making of this video, the 2022 FIFA World Cup recently concluded in Qatar, and I was glued to the TV watching the entire time. And it got me thinking about the history of the world's largest football tournament. So welcome to Kaiser Caliber History. This is a short history of the FIFA World Cup. Some version of the game of football has been played throughout history, even as far back as 2000 BC in ancient China, Greece, and Rome. However, the modern game that we know gained significant popularity in the 1800s in England, where the first official football association was formed in 1863. The game continued to advance and gain popularity throughout the late 1800s and early 1900s. Eventually, the game became so popular and widespread that it required a governing body. Enter FIFA on May 21st, 1904. Founded by the football associations of Belgium, Denmark, France, the Netherlands, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland, the purpose of the organization was to promote the sport further and organize and standardize matches. The origins of the World Cup began when FIFA decided to organize an international football tournament between nations, similar to that of the football tournaments that took place during the Olympic Games, but on a more professional level. On May 26, 1928, FIFA declared their intention to hold the first ever World Cup. The first World Cup would be held 2 years later, in July of 1930, in Uruguay. Due to the Depression, many teams from Europe were unable to participate because the players from those teams feared that the travel and time required to compete in the tournament would result in them losing their day jobs, which most could not afford during these tough economic times. Travel to the tournament during this time played a large role in the overall tournament conditions as well. Teams not from the host nation's continent had to endure up to a 10-day boat ride to Uruguay without being able to practice. This is actually the reason for the group stage of the competition. During the first World Cup, it was to give the teams that had to travel at least 2 games to play before the knockout round. Due to these economic conditions and travel dilemmas, the tournament only featured 13 teams and 18 total matches. The championship match was played between Uruguay and Argentina in front of 80,000 spectators in the country's capital, with Uruguay coming out victorious in a 4-2 win. Since the first World Cup in 1930, the competition has been held every 4 years, with the only exceptions being in 1942 and 1946 due to World War II. Over those 22 World Cup tournaments, the competition format and rules have undergone many changes. The main change from the first World Cup being the qualifying process that takes place all over the world years before the actual tournament is even held. Since its inception, the tournament has been dominated by European and South American countries, with no country outside those 2 continents ever even advancing to the World Cup final. The countries with the most success in the tournament have been Brazil with 5 titles, Germany with 4 titles, and Italy also with 4 titles. 18 countries, including Qatar, have hosted the World Cup, and the next host nation in 2026 is set to be the North American triad of the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The process of choosing the host country has become an enormously important and highly scrutinized process in which many countries bid for. It's a process that has increasingly become very political and extremely bureaucratic. Because of this, FIFA has been caught up in many scandals over the years, involving its officials accepting bribes in return for votes for certain countries to host the World Cup. YouTuber Johnny Harris has made a great video explaining how this process works and how it's been corrupted. It's a great watch if you're interested in football history and how FIFA itself works. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check it out. So there you have it, a brief history of the FIFA World Cup. A little different from the kind of content you usually see on this channel, but I thought it was a nice way to change things up a bit so as to not get stale, as well as a good way to get a video out, as I know it's been a while. But hey, if it's any kind of history, even sports history, then it's fair game for me. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. This has been Kaiser Caliber History.